The Oak Ridge Boys are currently out on tour, and the name of the current tour is The Boys Are Back. That also happens to be the name of their latest CD, and personally my favorite song on the CD as well. But they haven't really been gone. They've just been focusing on their gospel music and recording albums and a few other projects. The question that I have is, what made now the time for the Oak Ridge Boys to come back?
Actually, The Boys Are Back title came from the song written for us by Shooter Jennings. That was the way we decided to name the album, and it was a good name for the tour. But you're right in your assessment. The boys have never really gone away. We've been playing 150 dates a year. We've been making lots of new records, gospel, Christmas, country, the whole works. So we really haven't gone anywhere. The Boys Are Back, simply a song title that seemed like it was, and you're a marketing girl, it just seemed like a good way to promote the album as well as the tour.
Question number 2. 35 years is a long time to be together for anything, whether it be co-workers, friends. With you guys, it also includes being on the road, in the bus, in hotel rooms, and in the studio. How do you guys remain so close and maintain good relationships without getting on each other's nerves, fighting, or just wanting to slap each other upside the head?
Being together as long as we have, of course, we've had our ups and downs. But we get along just fine. I think as we've gotten older, that it has even gotten easier because, the egos are pretty much checked at the door. Everyone has a job to do, and we do it. And at the heart and soul of it all, we realize that the group is the big thing here. We are just a means to an end. The group can go on without any of us. The group has gone on from time to time without one or two of us maybe, or one of us because of sickness or whatever reason. But as far as getting along, we get along just fine. We're all in one accord. It's a real honor to be a part of a group where you're surrounded with men of like minds, forward-thinking guys, honest guys, guys that believe in what we're doing, and guys that believe in the Oak Ridge Boys, and guys who are constantly thinking about how to make it better, how to improve on what we're doing. What are we going to do next year? How are we going to do it better? There's just no stopping anybody. I don't think we even know how to slow down, and the word quit or slow down or retire certainly doesn't come into our vocabulary at all. I think as long as we are healthy and God gives us the health to do this, we'll do this and keep on doing it.
The Oak Ridge Boys crossed over from gospel to country back in the early 80s. Country music, especially now, is pretty much a dog of a different breed. It's a different environment as far as morals and values go. Did you find it hard to stay true to your morals and values when you first made the transition into country music?
Jen, I don't really think that the environment has anything to do with your spiritual life, really. Yes, it could affect it, but I think that if you're well grounded in your faith, as I believe most of my guys certainly are, I know that I am, that it don't matter if you're singing country, rock and roll, or where you're at, or how you're doing it, or who you're doing it with. I do think that our roots and heritage being in Southern-style gospel quartet music has made for a more diverse background for us in big-time professional commercial music, call it country, rock and roll, or whatever, than possibly coming up, say, in the club circuit or the booze circuit, or how a lot of kids have had to come up. So coming up singing in churches, I think, has been very positive for me, I know. And the gospel means everything to me. And my spiritual walk doesn't change, especially as I again have gotten older. I think you just tend to look at things through a little bit of a different glass. And to me, you just go out there and sing and do your job and treat everybody nice. I mean, it can be that simple. You can make the music industry as hard as you want to make it, or how about this? I wrote this in an American Journey book. Shake hands, sing your songs, do your job, get your check, smile, get on the bus, treat everybody right. No big demands, just do your job, take your check, and go home. It's as easy as you want to make it to be.
Being on the road so long, dealing with critics and discriminating audiences and industry professionals that might have had a different idea for your group, have you ever found yourself in a moment when you just want to throw your hands up in the air and say, you know what, I quit, I'm done, I'm tired of this, enough is enough?
Jen, I've never come to the part where I wanted to throw my hands up since we've been singing country music and have been successful. I think I've just really pretty much enjoyed the work and enjoyed the ride. There were times back in the gospel days, though, when the Oak Ridge Boys were trying to be innovative and fresh and new and different, and to try to take the music into a more, upbeat direction and try to get more young people in the gospel. You know, we were a little bit rebels in our day there in the gospel, Southern Gospel Quartet world, and they weren't really ready for our long hair and our full band and some of the clothes we would wear, but. There were times back then when Christian people would be very, very critical of us that I got discouraged from time to time. But actually, I knew then that my path was different than singing gospel songs for a living. I love gospel music. I love the gospel. But singing gospel songs for a living, I'm not so sure about that.
What was the main turning point in your life when you realized that music is exactly what you were destined to do? You didn't want to do anything else, and you knew this is where you needed to be.
I know you read my book from my perspective, and I talk about the Stones and so forth in that book, but I have to tell you, I've always known that music was going to be my life. From the time I was a little boy, I wanted to sing. I enjoyed singing. I put on shows in my back room that are still probably some of the best shows I've ever done in front of a mirror with a mop handle and a lampshade for a microphone. So I think that I've always known that music would be my life, and I feel very fortunate and blessed to have lived out most all of those dreams that I had as a kid. I mean, I flunked geometry course once because in high school, instead of writing, drawing trapezoids and stuff like that, I was drawing stage plots and where I'd put the drums and drawing pictures of a big bus and guys' heads looking out the window that would be my singing partners someday. So I think I had a little foresight into what we would someday become. And thankfully, it's all worked out.
Exactly who is this Elvira, and what makes her the Papa Mau Mau?
Actually, the great Dallas Frazier wrote Elvira. He's the same guy that wrote Alley Oop for the Hollywood Argyles way back before your time, but actually during mine. Anyway, several people had recorded Elvira over the years. Kenny Rogers had a rendition of it, Rodney Crowell. Dallas himself had a regional hit on Elvira in the middle 60s. Of course, when we recorded it in 1980 going into 81, that became the magical record with me singing lead and Richard doing the Papa Mau Maus. But to be honest with you, songwriter Frazier says that he got the name of the song from a street in Madison, Tennessee. And yes, Madison is right below Hendersonville, just north of Nashville, and there is an Elvira Street there. So where the Papa Mau Mau came from, I don't know. There's a lot of people Papa Mau Mau and an Papa Mau Mau back in the 60s, so I guess he just went off on that on his own. But Elvira was actually a street in Madison, Tennessee.
Okay, final question. Kind of a bonus. Have you ever been standing backstage, ready to go on, show's getting ready to start, and you're thinking in your mind, there's no way I can do this. I'm not going to do this show. Elvis has left the building. Evacuate the premises, because I am not coming out. I know you've had one of those moments.
All right, the bonus question. I think that I've never talked about any of this before, but let me go back to about 1982 when we were really the biggest thing there was. North Dakota State Fair. Grandstand, biggest crowd in the history of the fair. Huge tornadoes moved in right before showtime. They made us clear the place as the rain was coming, and you could see the tornadoes off in the distance. We cleared the stage, all went back to our hotel room. And we figured, well, that's it for that. What a shame. Right around 11 o'clock at night, we got a call from our road manager, Raymond Hicks at the time, that said, hey, man, the tornadoes are through, the show's on. We said, man, it's like 11, almost 11:30. What's the deal? He said, they say the show's on, the grandstand's full. We got back in the bus, went over there, and the crowd was just as big as it had been at around 7 o'clock before the tornadoes came in. So no impending doom, but, man, I remember putting on a big, monstrous show that night that probably went well after 1 o'clock, and I thought it was one of our better shows. Bonus answer, too. You may not want to print this one. I don't know. Laramie, Wyoming, about 1983. I remember it was the American Made Tour. And we were coming to town. We had sold really, really big at the university there, and the big field house was packed with people. And word had got out that a bunch of old cowboys that were upset about the Oak Ridge Boys because all their girlfriends were in love with us was going to get us. And all kind of extra special clothes policemen from the Laramie and Denver Police Department were all in the audience. And one of the threats came by, said they were going to shoot that curly-haired one. Well, that's me. I went out there and sang anyway, but I have to admit I was a little apprehensive. I wondered if somebody was going to shoot me. And if somebody pulled a gun out there on row 3 and started taking pot shots at the tenor singer, I guess I was going down. And gosh, I wasn't even playing banjo back then, so I never saw any real reason to take me out. But the show actually went off without a hitch, and nothing bad ever happened. And believe it or not, we've had a few similar experiences like that one, but nothing bad has ever happened. We've always just pulled it off just fine, and we are not dead. Thank you, Jen. This has been fun. I really hope this MP3 thing works. Let me know if it does. Bye, babe.